This video is brought to you by Atlas VPN. Oh my gosh, the ancient Romans were so horrible, bloodthirsty, they liked gladiatorial combat. We modern people are not like that. It's my lucky day, it's my lucky day. I think sometimes we don't fully appreciate how uncunningly similar to us the ancient Romans were. Hello noble ones, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and this is part 2 of the original video 10 modern things the ancient Romans actually had. If you haven't checked out the original video, be a good imperial soldier and click the link in the description below. Okay, we've got 10 more to go, let's get started. Number 10. Heated floors. Winter is coming. Well, most of us don't have to worry about that with our warm homes and our central heating system. And perhaps lately you've been considering installing those fancy heated floors. Luxuries of the modern time, right? Wrong, because the ancient Romans had it too. Well, the wealthy ones. In ancient Rome, this technology was called hypocaustum. So how did it work? Hot air, a system of chambers, and hollow bricks. Allow me to explain. Underneath the floor of some Roman houses, you had controlled burning fires that were producing hot air. And this was both a primary system in the sense that it created the heat, but it was also a secondary system because it distributed it throughout the building. And when I say building, I don't just mean private houses, but also public baths, Roman spas, and many other types of public buildings. The floor was laid out as a series of concrete slabs raised up on tiles. The furnace would be at the bottom of one exterior wall. The draft would take the heat under the floor and up through the walls. A lot of planning went into this. The height of the tiles was decided to be 60 centimeters or 2 feet because it was considered to be the most effective height for the heat to travel through. The air was then pulled up through the walls because of the fact that, of course, hot air tends to rise, but also because of the vacuum that was created. So in other words, if you would walk bare feet into one of these Roman buildings, not only the floor would be nice and warm, but so would the walls, since the bricks of said walls had holes so that the air would warm them up. Walls and floors. Hold on a minute. Are you saying that the ancient Roman version is nicer? The fuel was mainly small branches and twigs. The reason why they chose that is because if you used logs, they would burn too slowly to be effective. Number 9. Coin-operated machines. Check this out. The first account of a coin-operated device was written by Hero of Alexandria in the 1st century AD, so pretty much contemporary to this armor. Now, given he was technically ethnically Greek, but he was a subject of the Roman Empire, so shut up, it counts. He tells us about several peculiar mechanical hydraulic designs, but the one we are dealing with now was at a temple. The machine had a slot, mind-blowing I know, and then you drop a 5 drachm coin into the slot and that activates a lever. Say this is the lever. The coin comes here, touches this end, so this other end goes up, right? Now the rear end of the lever is connected through a plug to a tank of water. After a set amount of water had been dispensed, the lever reached an angle by which the coin would fall, relieving the lever of the weight so that it would reset. And you thought you were being smart with the puzzles in God of War. Great game, by the way. Go get them, Jacksepticeye. Number 8. Graffiti. You know that edgy kid that does graffiti with the hairstyle? F the system, bro. Not original. Like by a long shot. You know when you Google it and they tell you, oh yeah, modern day graffiti art dates back to 1967 Philadelphia. Nonsense! The ancient Romans loved being edgy with graffiti 2000 years ago. Well, to be fair, probably they date back to the cavemen in the prehistorical period, but you know what I mean. Yeah, okay, some Romans did graffiti, but how widespread was it? Well, have you ever been to Pompeii? Herculaneum, anyone? Well, guess. Now seriously, guess how many graffiti archaeologists found in ancient Rome? 100, you say? 1,000? Well, try 11,000 graffiti in Pompeii alone. Well, literally, calm down, ancient Romans. So what the heck did they write? Well, from existential ramblings to jokes, admonitions, political opinions, and insults. Like a lot of insults. Okay. Where did they like drawing these graffiti? Well, sometimes in public houses, other times in baths, taverns was another popular one, and of course, private domestic residences. In fact, sometimes it was even used as a form of artistic expression and poetic expression. So next time you see a modern kid destroying the facade of historic buildings with their graffiti, tell them, Aue Caesar, and then call the police. Now, if you are enjoying this list, make sure to watch until the end. But before we continue with the list, I would like to mention the very kind sponsor that made this video possible, Atlas VPN, because they have a very interesting offer for you. Pretty impressive, isn't it? And you know what else people of the classical period had? Computers! Look at that! USB ports and whatnot. They even had their own VPNs. No, they didn't. I'm joking. That's not a computer. They did not have VPNs, but you should, such as Atlas VPN, that is the kind sponsor for today's video. A VPN is a virtual private network that makes all of your internet traffic travel through an encrypted tunnel, and this way it protects you from spying, public Wi-Fi dangers, it hides your IP address, and online activities. Atlas VPN is a great choice because it was developed by cyber security specialists and, among other things, it gives you access to the Data Breach Monitor, which is a security feature designed to track any data breaches related to your online accounts, automatically scanning any leaked information. But another add-on through Atlas VPN is the fact that you can use Netflix from any country regardless of where you are. So let's say you wanted to watch a show that they only broadcast in the UK, but you were in America, no problem, just change your country through the VPN and boom, access granted. I personally always have Atlas VPN active on my machines because one account lets you use unlimited devices. Not only Atlas VPN is a great choice, but it's also a very affordable one. Now today is the perfect day to start using Atlas VPN because it's the deal of the year. Atlas VPN is offering all of you a Steel Black Friday deal, which means that now you can get Atlas VPN Premium for just $1.70 per month, plus 6 months extra with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you have been considering getting a VPN but you weren't sure about the prices, well, now is the time. Only $1.70 per month, plus 6 months extra, with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Since this is just a limited time offer, make sure to be quick. Click the link in the description below, get your deal. And big thanks to Atlas VPN for sponsoring my channel. Number 7. Swiss Army knives. Oh my gosh, I love this list. Everyone loves Swiss Army knives, they're so useful. Don't you love Swiss Army knives? Well, if you do, how about we come up with a more appropriate name? Yeah, forget the Swiss, Roman Army knives. I mean, no hate to my Swiss subscribers, you're great with cheese and chocolate, but hey, check this Muppet out. Displayed at the Roman Antiquities Gallery in Cambridge. My gosh, when did that happen? That's incredible. Well, it's been there for 20 years, mate. The 3 inches by 6 inches, 8 centimeters by 15 centimeters knife was excavated from the Mediterranean area. It was a Roman implement which dates back to 200 AD, made from silver but with an iron blade. It has a spoon, fork, spike, spatula and small toothpick. So what about the spike? What's that used for? Well, experts believe that the spike was used to extract the meat from snails. Did you hear that, French? Romans did it too. But you can have them. I'll stick to lasagna. To be fair, this would have been sort of a custom piece, not something that you would find everywhere, but still, pretty impressive. Number 6. Construction cranes. Okay, we all know that the ancient Romans were masters of construction, but they didn't just do it by themselves, they did come up with some very ingenious tools and building machines. For instance, the crane. Now given, it wasn't their idea, it was the Greeks' idea, but the Romans took it and improved it. In fact, they had several varieties. What did they use them for? For all sorts of public buildings and also for building aqueducts. Now, aqueducts were one of the 10 special things that I talk about in my previous iterations. I won't cover them here again. Link in the description, you imperial subject. So let me tell you instead about these 3 different kinds of cranes. Crane number 1 is the wheel crane, very simple design used to lift stones. Crane number 2 called pentaspastos, which had 5 pulleys. But probably one of the most sophisticated was the polyspastos, which had 15 pulleys and up to 4 masts with a ratio of 60:1. It had 4 operators per side and it could have a maximum load lifting capacity of 6,000 pounds, which could be doubled if manual work was replaced with a drum. Number 5. Physician's bags. You know, the bag that doctors usually carry around. Well, many cultures claim the invention. We don't know if it was the Greeks first or the Egyptians, but what we do know is that the Romans had them too. Now, of course, you can't talk about these sort of physicians' medical bags without talking about Hippocrates, because he's the one who mentions the contents of such bags. But it's Galen that mentions what the ancient Roman physicians used, and the Greeks, and he says that among the many metallic instruments, some were made of iron, some of copper, and some of copper alloy. Link in the description. Now, doctors in ancient Rome had all sorts of assistants. If you're an English speaker, which I suppose you are since you've reached number 5 on this list, if you are an English speaker, you will recognize immediately what these assistants' jobs were. Pharmacopolae, unguentari, aromatari, and the capsari were the ones that would prepare and carry the doctor's capsa, which means physician's bag. Number 4, sewer system. Okay, so the ancient Romans had sewers. The sewers probably had mice. 5 by 7 divided by 6. Yes, we should be able to begin a D&D campaign in ancient Rome. So it is estimated that the very first sewage system in ancient Rome was built in the 8th century. Of course, this would have been a very basic drainage system, probably just used to drain marshes and runoffs, if you will. However, 400 years we are in the 4th century BC, during the reign of the Etruscan kings, and here we are. The Cloaca Maxima was built. Cloaca Maxima, that'd make a great insult. Shut up, you Cloaca Maxima. Cloaca Maxima. Your cousin is such a Cloaca Maxima. Okay, so initially the Cloaca Maxima was a central sewage collection and disposal system. But finally, at the end of the 1st century BC, during the reign of Augustus, it was closed. I want to say for obvious reasons. Good job, Augustus. Then after the innovation of the sewage system, finally aqueducts became popular because of course you needed a lot of water to sort of wash off the remains of all this drainage. And then latrines became popular both in public and private housing. How a latrine can be popular is beyond me, but great for socialization in ancient Rome. Sorry for that mental image. Number 3. Fast food. Say you're craving Big Mac and McDonald's fries, but you're in ancient Rome. What do? Well, you go to Roman Thermopolia. You won't exactly get the same Big Mac that you get today, as one of the commonly known type of meats that was served there was honey roasted rodent. Lots of good wine though. Allegedly, a lot of these Thermopolia didn't really have a great image in the popular mind, but they were fast and very convenient, and oftentimes people not only bought them but just ate the food quickly, oftentimes even standing. Number 2, steam-operated machines. You've got to be joking. Now, this one comes with a massive caveat, since we are only really talking about a very rudimentary machine, but the first steam engine is actually mentioned by Vitruvius between 30 and 15 BC. And the steam engine mentioned by Vitruvius is not even the only one that was present in ancient Rome. We know that there were several prototypes of functioning steam engines, but they never really went beyond the concept of prototype. Still quite impressive that they figured that one out. So even though the core concept was there, it couldn't really be used the same way as, say, industrial age steam engines were used, and how much of a game changer those were. We're stepping a little bit into the hypothetical here, but could have the Romans invented the modern steam engine? A difficult question to answer because, again, it's very speculative. Some people say that the centrifugal governor, which the ancient Romans didn't have, would be a key piece of invention to make a steam engine do useful work. And without getting too complicated, without the centrifugal governor, it's really difficult to control the sort of pressure created by the steam engine itself and the boiler. Maybe they could have come up with a different idea, separate boiler. It's really unanswerable. Number 1, use it every day. It's part of your daily life. The calendar. The calendar as a concept goes who knows how far back. Ancient Greek lunar calendars, original systems from Babylon. The reason why, however, I decided to put the calendar within this list, even though I think most people know this, is because the calendar that we use today is absolutely connected to the one invented by the Romans, or should I say, one of the calendars invented by the Romans. The Roman Republican calendar was a dating system that evolved in Rome prior to the Christian era. Legend says that Romulus made it. Yeah, okay, whatever. The original Roman calendar was a little different to the modern one. It consisted only of 10 months and a year of 304 days. You can imagine that by the 1st century BC, the situation had become so confused that the calendar couldn't be used anymore. A modified version was created by Julius Caesar, or Julius Caesar, the Julian calendar in 46 BC, and later reformed by Augustus in 8 BC. Finally, this will be the base of the Gregorian calendar that will be introduced in October 1582 by Pope Gregory XIII, a modification of the Julian calendar, which is what we use today. Alright, Noble Ones, well I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember thumbs up, and if you're not yet members of this community, become a Noble One. Subscribe to my channel for more content from the Metatron. Don't forget to check out the link in the description below to make use of the incredible offer Atlas VPN has for you in store. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, the Metatron has spread his wings. Valete.